Hello, I'm Renee Vonador, and this is Soul Portal Journeys. Thank you for clicking on this full moon video for the full moon in Libra on April 12th, 2025. Wow, we're in the thick of it. Lots going on. So, we're going to take a look at the chart. We are going to take a look at some of the stars that are helping us and a couple of cosmic points. But as you may or may not know, the full moon is seen in the chart by looking at, oh, there's the sun, oh, there's the moon. Okay, so they are opposite each other, but on the same degree. They're both 23 degrees with 19 minutes of Aries. The sun's in Aries, like we just had the March equinox when the sun moved there. And then the moon moves so quickly, moves every month. That's where it got its name. The month got the name. And so we have the moon at 2319 Libra right now. So what happens when the sun and the moon are opposite? Does that what is above trigger what is below? Yes, it does. Because the full moons being in opposite signs allow us to resolve some polarities, which we're going to look at in the next slide. So stay tuned. But right here, what we see is a Pisces stellium, which just means there's a lot of planets in Pisces. We got Venus. We have Saturn and Venus conjunct. We have the North Node, which is a mathematical point that helps us understand our purpose on this planet at this time. What we intended to do when we got here, this is like astrology charts are like something we step into so that we have a personality. And our charts create a personality for us before our soul steps in and says, okay, I want to experiment with some stuff in 3D. Woo! So anyway, that's my perception of what happens. You're free to have your own. You don't have to marry mine, but here we go. We've also got the planet of communication, Mercury, really close to this North Node. And we just had Neptune move from Pisces, where it's been since 2011, into Aries, 0 degrees Aries. It's still on the inception point or the beginning of the zodiac. So we got some insights into a lot of what was going on in Pisces, just as Pisces was at the last degree, last minute. I got some information. I talk about that in the companion video. What also is happening on the 12th is Venus, who's red right here. A few minutes later, Venus gets out of her retrograde. Okay, so red in my charts, not all charts are the same, but my charts show retrogrades as red. And Venus is going to start moving forward again right after this full moon that's happening on the 12th. So you may be watching this on the 7th or, some other day between now and then, but it's fine because this is what's coming up. This is what's coming up for us. And our question is, how do we work with this energy, this illuminating energy? What is it we're willing to see? What is being illuminated? So that's what the meditation question for all of us during full moons. Okay, so we see the sun is conjunct several things. It's conjunct Chiron, the wounded healer, and the wound in Aries is all about I amness. I have a unique personality and I'm experimenting with it and I'm learning with it and blah blah blah, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And so it's very like, I don't know how to do this. Nobody's showing me how to do it, but I know I can do it. So I'm just going to blaze through and do it. Okay. So it might As a young child, that might have been very hard for your parents to grow up with if you have a strong Aries in your chart. So you may have the wound, maybe having to shut down that, or maybe it wasn't your parents that shut it down. Maybe it was your teachers. They had a whole classroom full of people with strong Aries placements. They're like, oh no, 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 no. I'm the master of my classroom. So you, at some point, this sense of I am and I can do and I can go forth and create for myself, be independent, blah blah blah, individual. We people that grew up in the United States love have a lot of love for Aries energy, but a lot of us get our Aries energy just goes out the window pretty quick, especially if you have Chiron in Aries. There's a sense of that woundedness. And so, what you come back with is after you've resolved the tension between the I amness of Aries to, oh, everybody has an I amness. Oh, I'm not better or worse than anybody else. We're all like in this together. And it helps a lot if I think about what other people have going on and help them understand what I'm about to do because it affects them. Wow, what a concept. And so, and then people in with a lot of Libra that are very concerned about what other people are doing and they're in balance and they want to keep that balance, okay, then they might be giving over too much to the people that say, I'm all that, woohoo, follow me. And they're the ones that tend to feel unworthy and that they're unworthy unless they're giving and concerned for other people. And they have to learn to embrace some of their Aries that is just saying, I am just as I am, amazing, just like everybody else. And we're all in this together. And we're going to just balance anytime I get too unworthy or overly, egoic. I'm just going to chill and find that center point, find that third. And there's something that shows us later how to create work with that. So Venus is also conjunct Saturn, which is good because this is Pisces, and Saturn in Pisces, I've learned, helps those of us with a lot of dreams and visions and imagination and blah 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 and trying to put forth a creative vision from within our own heart. Saturn is right there helping us structure that and bring it into 3D, bring it into daily life, the life we're here to live on this planet. So all the stuff from the other dimensions we experience can come into our 3D life. And Saturn's helping us do that at this time. So that's awesome. What is the moon conjunct? Sun is also conjunct Eris. And Eris is Mars's twin sister, and she's a warrior goddess. And she's out there. You can see, you can look around the world and see women saying, "Hi, bad idea to have men dominating women. It's absurd because men cannot accept their divine feminine when you do that, and women have a hard time doing anything in 3D when you do that. And we're all have yin and yang energies, masculine and feminine energies within us. And if you don't know that, you're running around like a crazy ego instead of someone who can be integrative with all the parts of themselves. So we can kind of see that playing out in the world. Yeah, I used to get really angry about that, but the more I work with this energy, the more I can just see it at a higher perspective. The more I work with galactic astrology and become more and more of a galactic anchor, being able to pull in these energies into daily life, then the more I see that a lot of what's playing out on the earth right now, I can kind of see through it. I'm sure some of you can too. So, Venus is what else do I want to talk about? I want to talk about the moon. being right next to this star Spica. And then the star next to Spica is Arcturus. And they're in different constellations, but they're both really powerful. Spica, there's a lot of beautiful spiritual beings on Spica that are helping us now. And also on Arcturus, there's amazing beings helping us. On Arcturus also, there's emotional healing. Sometimes I'll have a client and they want to have a strong Arcturus in their chart, and they'll want to travel to that Arcturus place. And so that's one of the offerings that I have. And then we'll go and we'll visit Arcturus. And sometimes I'm thinking like, oh yeah, I know the way, let's go. And sometimes it's my clients that like show me the back room of the healing room. So it's fun. I learn from you guys, you learn from me. We're all in this together, right? Okay, so let me talk a little bit more about polarity. You can kind of see that it's kind of opening. The practice with a full moon, every full moon, is to open into our deepest love within our heart, right? Resolve the duality within each one of us. So if we have the self other duality, which is the other Libra, the self Aries, if we have this polarity going on, okay, we can practice not sticking at one side of the duality or the other. We're like, we don't want to be a doormat and get walked all over everybody, but at the same time, we don't want to be like, yep, I'm gonna do it. I don't care what you say. I'm gonna do it, and so I care what I care about you, and I want to stay in a relationship with you. So we're gonna talk about this, and I'm gonna explain until you agree with me. That kind of mostly what happens, but it's there's a lot less tension, and the relationships are healthier when you're able to have a balance within yourself of, yeah, I'm me and I'm being on this planet experimenting with amazing stuff, creating from within my heart, and I'm going to make sure that the people around me are updated on what's up with me so that they can support me instead of stop me. So that's kind of where I am at this moment. So sometimes I prefer to be in this Libra energy because it's so beautiful, balanced, and harmonious. In fact, I was never in Aries energy until the last 10 years. So, you know, it is what it is. And so I was over here for a while, and then I stayed here for a while, and it's just not staying on one side or the other. It's not really that optimal. What we're looking for is that third thing, that because we are in 3D, so we're looking at playing not with duality all the time, okay, although that can create interesting stuff, but what is that third thing? How do you resolve the tension of the duality? How do you step into the both and that are in the opposites of all this charts? The nodes right now are in the bliss of Pisces. We've got a stellium in Pisces right now. And that's like this sense of unity. We're all one. And then the opposite of that is be here now. So it's really hard. Sometimes I found it hard as a Pisces moon to be here now. And I can do that now, and also dream, and also bring in vision. So that's invitation every full moon. So stars, real briefly, there's Arcturus in Spica again. We've got Lilith on the Shapley attractor, which is within our little local group of the universe, in this part of the universe, within 500 million light years of where we are in the Milky Way. There's all these other different galaxies, and all of these galaxies are being pulled to these different points. Like the first place that our galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy, our twin galaxy, are being pulled towards is the supergalactic center. And the South Node is still kind of on that. And then what is happening at the supergalactic center is that they are moving toward Shapley attractor, along with thousands of other galaxies with millions, billions of stars. So that ain't even counted. There's so many. So this powerful, this is a time with Lilith. Lilith is holding information about our karma that we want to clear in this life. And so when Lilith is on the Shapley attractor, it's like, okay, if there's something ancestral that you know that you're here to heal, this is great. Thank you, Lilith. If stuff is coming up for you, boom, just feel this sense of energy and release that is all of that's being held. Maybe you're done and you didn't even know it. Just release all of that stuff. Release all that karmic stuff and conditioning so that you can step in to phase 2 of what we get to do on this planet right now, which is create anew from within our hearts. Okay, so that's some of the stars. And then here's Sheet and Merkab that were big players. This whole Pisces constellation were Pegasus. I'm sorry, I said Pisces. This whole Pegasus constellation that you can see the stars Sheet and Merkab in Pisces. That whole constellation is just playing out a lot during this whole Venus retrograde, and I have a whole video, like I said, about that. If you're interested in that, you want to see more about that. But let me show you really quick what I'm talking about. Here's the star sheet, and Neptune was on that degree of 29 degrees of Pisces for the last couple of years. On and off, he went off it a little bit and came back a couple times. But she is the one that helps us open our crown chakra, which is really good because then we can actually feel the information coming through us from the other stars that are teaching us. And I go more in depth in that in my Venus retrograde video. But here is the Great Square of Pegasus. And there's Sheet that Neptune and Mercury are on right now, and Merkab, which Venus and Saturn are on right now. Saturn's going to be off the two degree orb of Merkab by the time Venus goes retrograde. And Venus isn't quite there yet, but she will be. Venus and Mercury, and we had the last new moon on this star at 9 degrees of Aries, which is Algenib. So we talk more about that in the other video too. So all of this stuff. So what is the moon on? Okay, we know what is the moon on? And this is Arcturus in the Boots constellation. And that's where it is. It's one of the brightest stars in the sky. This is an artist's rendition, but it's very interesting that the moon is on this degree. So what is this degree, this 24-degree Libra, all about? Well, let's see. Third wing on left side of butterfly. Okay, that is the image that Elsie Wheeler, a spiritualist in 1925, came up with when astrologer Mark Edmund Jones wanted an image for each of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. So this I find very interesting that this degree is also shared by Arcturus, because that is our connection. This is a lot like the kind of things that we receive from the Arcturian energy. So an exceptional facility of consciousness. I like the sound of that. My little ego loves that. But here, an unusual level of spiritual awakening can be achieved by serious seekers who then become the seeds of a general evolutionary step. So we're all have something that we are discovering from within our hearts about our own uniqueness. Everybody's chart's different. You can be born on the same day and can be completely different. I grew up with somebody that born same day, same year as me. We're completely different because she was born earlier in the day and she had a different ascendant. Completely different. Okay, so it just depends. Okay, so beautiful discovering our own uniqueness, knowing that there are seeds of our evolution, and the Arcturians are helping us as we rediscover some of these things that are seated within us and they get activated. So this is an awesome time to be alive right now. Big transitions happening. So where's the sun? The sun is on Aries 24, right opposite it. The shaping power of higher forces, allowing spiritual energies to inspire and impress us, allowing higher forces to shape our lives. So instead of being tunnel vision, no, I'm going to just worry about my little house and what I'm having for dinner and what I'm watching on TV. I could live that way if I choose. Nobody's stopping you. But you can allow for higher forces to shape your life, but you have to kind of tune into a higher perspective to know what those, at least I like to know what those higher forces are up to. So I like to look at astrology and see what's coming. Should I really surrender to Neptune in Aries? Well, let me find out what's going on there. Oh yeah, I can surrender to Neptune in Aries. I'm good. All right. I'm going to surrender to these higher forces because I've just found by experimenting that it works better for me. You can experiment and find out for yourself what works best for you. What is going on now? I want to, if you're like Renee, I don't know how to look for a vision inside my heart. What I get is I get nothing when I look inside. What can I do to develop this? If that is your question, you're in luck, because you're invited to join my Soul Portal Journeys community in Patreon. Patreon is a it's not like Facebook, because there's not a whole bunch of ads and other stuff, and you actually get to follow the people you choose to follow. But it's kind of like that in that it's a container, but this one is a container for people who are creative and like to create things. It's for artists. It's for people that create videos. So a lot of people on YouTube also have communities in Patreon. And the Patreon Journeys community is, you can see a lot of my videos that I talk about. You can see my videos on multidimensionality. You can see I have a lot of free video content and some free handouts on there. So you can take a look and see what you think. If you like what you see, you can join Intuitives, and that's where you have actual connection live with me once or twice a month, depending on what you choose. If you choose to be there live both times, great. If you're always going to get the replay no matter what, if you can be there live or not. But there's a sense of belonging, because people that are attracted to me are like-minded, and you're going to find that the people that share in this group are like amazing. They have amazing shares, and people learn as much from me, from other people, as they learn from me in this group. It's amazing. And the next time we meet is April 21st, because we meet on the third Monday of every month. We also meet at the new moon and have a new moon ceremony. And so we're going to study about the unseen realms supporting us in 2D, which is exciting. And we're going to talk about the elements, fire, water, earth, air, ether, as the ancient Greeks could see this and called this as building blocks of the universe. And I know now, I didn't know that before, but I know now the Aramaic seed words for the elements, and then the spirit, the ether that moves through all the elements, combining them. And there's just this loving creative flow that comes up and through us when we're using the really powerful Aramaic. If you don't know, Aramaic is the language that Jesus and Mary Magdalene spoke while they were on this planet helping us. So that's always awesome. So we do a guided meditation in all of my classes that I do live. That's a lot of people, that's their favorite part of the class. They will sit through like a half an hour of me talking, and then they'll go, yeah, I don't know what she's saying. And then we'll go through the meditation, and they'll go, "Oh, I get it. I get it." And so that's kind of what happens in the class. So if you want to tune in to what is going on within you, what is your uniqueness, what is next for you, and how to bring it into your daily life, and could use some support and a beautiful community you can feel a sense of belonging with, then I invite you to look at the link below the video. And, if you're ready to jump in, great, awesome. If you want to take a look at some of the videos first, then just look at the free part of the Patreon group before. It's not expensive to join Intuitives, the paid part. In fact, it's an angel number, $11.11 a month. So it's 1111. And 1111 just always makes me know that the angels are here supporting us all the time. So love and blessings to you. If you don't need support, great. Love you too. If you do want a little bit support, think about joining. Love and blessings. Bye-bye.